Okay, here's another anime review. This is one of my favorite anime of all time, Sword Art Online, but this is Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online Season 2. Finally, they released the Season 2, and we have Len, M, Pito, and Fuka here. And let's get into what happened this episode. This is episode number 2. So they started another tournament. This is the third squad jam field, and they're on an island. But before we get into it fully, here's some visuals from the opening, which I really like this opening. I really have to talk about that at least a little bit in this review. The opening is really A1 Pictures, of course, and Kodokawa are helping making this, which is why the animation in this episode and the previous episode were top notch. And back to the actual content of the episode, we see Pito asking M to show us the map. He'll be the squad, not leader, but the one who knows the layout of the land and who could organize the whole squad. So M will have that role in this episode. And they confirm it's an island. And Fuka compares it to maybe one of the previous games she was playing, because in the last episode she does say she hasn't been in Gun Gale Online for a while. A few of them actually haven't logged on, except for Pito. She's been grinding this game for a while. And then in this scene they show that the strongest teams, we did see a lot of the teams that started this game tournament. The strongest teams were apparently spread to all four corners of the map, and they need to get to this unknown spot, which is a dead center. And if anyone has played any type of battle royale games, you know there's a storm or something of the sorts. In it seems like this tournament is having the battle royale format, and the storm in this case is the rising water. So the tides will keep rising and rising until it pushes everyone inland, which is a cool concept. And they do acknowledge and explain that here. And we see some of the other returning teams are just happy and ready, raring to go, and raring to. This team specifically, they're raring to see Lynn and try to encounter her, but they're having their fun. And then I'm going to showcase a few other teams that we saw in the previous episode. This team. This team, actually, we saw that someone came up to them and provided them some intel, and we finally found out what that intel was in this episode. And they have to organize their team structure just like in any real life combat situation, so everyone knows what they're doing and no one goes off on their own because they weren't aware of what their roles were. Their point man will be Lin, 20 meters away from her will be Pito, and then Fuka as the flank, and she has the grenade launchers. We'll see her be very useful and a funny part in this episode. And then all of a sudden they see these signal flares, which is a big part of this episode and relates to the intel I was speaking about previously from the last episode. And here we see when that person gave them the intel. So apparently all those flares you see are different teams that agreed to team up on one of the strongest, which is LPFM, which is their abbreviation for Len, Pito, Fuka, and M. And in this episode, we have some really great animation. I enjoyed the entire watch of it. Unlike some other anime this season, this has really good animation. And one thing about anime I like is that keeps me watching is the animation where it doesn't look like slideshows. Here in the meantime, we'll come up with a countermeasure and head that way. So they go into the train yard because they realize people are going to surround them here, and they do have to make their way past this to get to the center anyway. So they had to do this. And then we see in the where this scene came from in the beginning of the previous episode. We saw her running from bullets and stuff, and we didn't know what was happening. And it actually came from while they were participating in this game. And I just had to include this nice visual because this was in the center of the episode as like a stop break. So this nice visual of Pito on the right, Fuka on the left, and Lin in the middle. And this team is goated. I'm telling you, they will get stuff done. And here we see all the abbreviation for the teams and all the teams surrounding LPFM, which is Len, Pito, Fuka, and M. So that's what's happening in this team and all the alliances that happened from that intel we saw in the previous episode. There's some cheaters. Why are you cheating in this? Like, I understand in battle royales there's something called teaming, and this is what they're doing. They should have all been disqualified. So what happened here is they found a train card that is pretty much bulletproof, and they all got inside of it. And then the teams that surrounded them in that previous visual I showed started shooting at it, but they couldn't kill them from inside. So Pito then does something smart. They set this whole stuff up so Pito could put bullet holes in this bulletproof car so they can shoot outside, but no one can shoot inside to them, and that's how they survived this ambush. And they acknowledged that was a trick they Pito used in the second Squad Jam tournament. And they were able to kill a lot of the people that were initially surrounding them. And I love this scene of Fuka laying here because she can't do anything. She has rocket launchers. What is she gonna do? She can't do anything or else she'll blow all of them up. But she does have a purpose. Her purpose is not this, but this was the other funny part. Give it all you got, guys. However, the other teams do have their own rocket launcher, grenade launcher people, and that's what you see here. And we know the special reticle when people in this game decide to use a gun, and the gun line sights also. So what happened was Pito decided to shoot down the grenade because in this game you see the line of where a bullet is going to go, even a grenade launch from a grenade launcher. So Pito was able to use a shotgun to shoot it down, and then Fuka has her ability to see where the line sights are and track and then aim where that came from. And she was able to attack the people that attacked them. And at the end of this encounter, of course, she killed all of them and they were able to get out. But of course, they can't stay in that safe spot because it's a really good safe spot. And Len and Fuka wanted to stay, but of course, Pito and M reminded them that you cannot stay here because, like we learned in the beginning of the episode, the water is the storm that related like how have in battle royale games. The water is going to keep rising, and they saw the water keep rising, and then that caused them to have to leave. And that would be the end of this episode. I say this episode is really good and I rate it really highly. If you have not started watching season 2 because maybe you didn't like season 1, I love season 1, but if you didn't like season 1, maybe you'll give it a chance because it's really good. The animation is good, the humor is good. I just love it.